So we hear about concerns and issues with AI, bias being an example. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So to start off with the bias problem, this is a very, very famous problem within the field of machine learning. And to give an example, let's go back to the Microsoft Surface facial recognition. So Microsoft Surface facial recognition is a great system, it works very nicely, but there's a little problem. It has a very difficult time understanding and recognizing the faces of people in certain demographics. And the reason for this is because, well, there simply wasn't enough representative data of those people's faces in the training data set that Microsoft used. And this is really something that's very difficult to get around.
We certainly have to be cognizant with AI systems of things like systematic bias and ethical issues related to AI. We need to be sure that the data that we feed to our AI systems does not have or does not contain bias, or that we are able to adjust for that bias so that we make sure we're not misrepresenting the population as a whole or preferring certain groups over others. And I think this is still a very challenging issue that we'll need to work through as these AI systems are developed.
First of all, machine learning technology is inherently biased. Machine learning works off of the fundamental assumption of bias. That's how machine learning technology functions. It's biasing certain input data points to map them to other output data points. That's just fundamentally how they work. That's the mathematics behind machine learning. There is also the option of directly modifying the data we feed in through techniques like data augmentation to enable less biased data. But there's a problem. You see, as humans, we consciously know not to apply certain kinds of bias. But the thing is, subconsciously, we end up applying such certain kinds of bias that we really can't even control. And on a massive scale with hundreds of thousands of humans, this bias really shows up in data. And so removing it from data isn't a good option either. You need a kind of combined approach at solving the bias problem. There are numerous researchers working on solving this problem, and I'm sure there will be huge breakthroughs in this field very, very soon, but currently this is an active area of research.